So, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Good evening. Habari za jioni. Kindly, if you can hear, just confirm that you can hear me. Yes, I see a good evening from Daniel, from Steve, from Edith, Alan, Moses. Good to have you here today, joining our Fireside chat. So a warm welcome to all of you joining us for our virtual Fireside chat, featuring 3 successful freelancers with expertise in cloud computing. We are excited to have them here today to share their insights and experience with us. But before we get to that, I know that we have some new members who are joining us for the first time or attending our webinar for the very, very first time. So if you are new, we are Cloud for Sky. We are a community of AWS cloud enthusiasts dedicated to promoting growth, learning, and networking opportunities. Our goal is to help you stay ahead of the curve in the fast-paced world of cloud computing, while also connecting you with the exciting freelancing opportunities. You can follow us on LinkedIn, also on YouTube at Cloud for Sky, and also you can check out our website at cloudforsky.com. So I'll share the details on the chat box in a while. So before we start our Fireside chat, I'm going to invite Patrick to just take us through a small icebreaker. Karibu, Patrick.
Asante sana, Janet, and good evening, everybody. I hope I'm audible. If I'm audible, kindly rusha vidole. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Thank you, Ngetich. Thank you, Robert. Asante sana, Edith. So, well, interesting. Thank you, Kefa. Et al. So interesting. I guess you guys, and I suspect that you guys are as excited as I am to be here this evening, even to listen from these successful freelancers who have been able to land some jobs in the cloud. So this icebreaker is really going to be just a question to all of us, all the 21 of us who are on this call. If you have ever worked online and earned, kindly lift your hand. If you have ever, thank you, Stanley. I can see your hand. Edith, very nice. Edith will be one of our speakers. That's awesome. Who else? Steve, awesome. I think I should have said apart from our panelists. Anyway, that's awesome. Ngetich, I can see. Very nice. Awesome. Now I'm going to call someone randomly. Just randomly. Give me a second. Sorry for that. Mambo na kufanya kazi nyumbani ndio hiyo. So, I'm going to ask somebody randomly. Where is Ngetich? Ngetich, have you disappeared? Where are you? Moses, I can see your hand. So, Ngetich, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Kindly tell us how was your experience working online and earning online?
At first, it's a challenge. It's very hard to find someone you can trust. Plus, it takes time to build that trust between you and the client. So sometimes you just have to be patient, work hard, try to market yourself. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. One last question for you before I go to the next person. How was the feeling earning that first $1 online?
Yeah, it's exciting actually. Yeah, what can I say? It's just you enjoy. Yeah, that's after struggling, and then you earn that $1. You feel this is now a stepping stone to the next level.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cherotich. We'll come back to you much later.
Okay.
Any lady that raised their hand, I'd like to hear your perspective. Did we have any, apart from Edith, that is? Do we have any lady on the call who has earned online? Maswali zangu unaona si ngumu. I'm not asking hard questions. I am not seeing any lady's hand. So, So, ladies, you want to tell us that you are yet to earn online. We hope that by the end of this call, you will be encouraged. You will be encouraged to try out and see if you will be able to earn online. So, the icebreaker was as short as that. Sorry for the background noise. The icebreaker was as short as that. I hope we are all eager, waiting to hear, learn from the challenges, learn from the successes of the guys that have been able to earn. And then we will also be the next success stories that will be featured in our subsequent Fireside chats. So, Janet, are you on the call?
Yes, Patrick, yes. I am on the call.
All right, back to you.
Thank you so much. So it's good to hear that some of us have made some $1, $2, $3. Actually, $1 right now has some very good value. So it's really sweet to get that dollar or to be paid in dollars. So I'm sure we are interested to hear from our successful freelancers who've made it, also leveraging the cloud skills. Yeah. So as we get started, I'm going to welcome our panelists to just introduce themselves briefly for 30 seconds, and then we dive into the panelist questions and also a chat. So this is it's named the Fireside Chat because it's meant to be a discussion, okay, where you're free to ask your questions and you get answered anything that you've ever been curious about, anything freelancing, and at this point, speaking about cloud computing, yeah, utilizing your cloud computing skills. So I'm going to start with Steve, then Edith, and then Evans to just introduce themselves for 30 seconds. So Steve, you can take it up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm clear. Janet, could you let me know?
Steve, you're not very clear.
Is this better?
Maybe the audience can just confirm. It could be on my end. Can you hear Steve? Just give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear Steve. So they cannot hear you. So maybe check on your audio and then we'll get back to you. Is that okay, Steve?
Right.
Yeah, thank you. So we are going to move to Evans, Kithinji.
Hey Janet, how are you?
I'm fine.
Awesome. It's nice to know you guys can hear me because you responded to that. So I'm not gonna ask. Anyway, thank you guys for having me here. And my name is Evans, as you've heard. I'm a cloud engineer. So basically, all we do is just configuring infrastructure on the cloud, and lately I've been doing so much of that. That's why I'm highlighting it. And today I'm happy to be here with you guys and share my experiences as a freelancer. Just to let you know how, guys, my life has been since I started freelancing on cloud computing. So thank you so much, and I look forward to the discussion.
Okay, thank you so much, Evans. That is Evans. I can invite Edith to just introduce herself. Karibu, Edith.
Thank you, Janet. My name is Edith Cherotich. I am a cloud specialist and I am excited to be here today and to share ideas with everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edith. So I guess we can move back to Steve. I don't know, Steve, if you're able to work on your audio.
Yes, is this better?
Yeah, I can say it's better.
Okay, finally. I had to go and dash for a second pair of headphones, which luckily I had on hand. My name is Steve Murimi. I'd like to say I'm a cloud engineer, stroke DevOps engineer, stroke architect. Honestly, I'm just passionate about the cloud, and so far I've been enjoying the journey of trying to learn as much as I can. And luckily, through all that dedication and passion that I've shown since I graduated from Restart, I actually was able to land one or two clients on the freelance platforms, which we are about to talk about.
I don't know if we lost Steve or you completed your introduction.
I completed the introduction.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve. So karibuni once again for everyone that is joining us. We're just about to start our panel discussion. And to get started, I know we are excited to know how they started their freelancing journey and specifically leveraging the cloud skills. So I'm just going to put out some questions to our panelists so that they can answer it. Also, at the end of the discussion, we are going to invite questions from anybody who just wants to know or is curious about freelancing with cloud skills. Now, I'd like to address Steve and Evans because I've done quite a number of projects in the cloud. So, how have you been able to leverage your cloud computing skills in your freelancing projects? And also, can you share a specific project where your cloud computing expertise made a significant impact? So maybe we are going to start with Steve and then Evans.
Sorry, would you kindly repeat the first question?
Yeah, so how have you leveraged your cloud computing skills in the freelancing projects? And are you able to share a specific project where your cloud computing expertise made a significant impact?
So in terms of leveraging the skills which I've learned so far, one thing that really helped me even form the titles of the gigs that I was putting out was actually the projects that we did through Restart and a few that I've learned on YouTube. Because ideally, the clients always search for gigs using specific keywords such as RDS or S3. So rather than try and make up my own fictional gig, I'd rather use the tried and tested words which clients are already familiar with. So far, I've done quite a number of gigs. Mostly, actually what happens is the clients that I have usually come back. So I guess also retaining the clients that you already have is a plus. And I'd say one of the most challenging gigs that I've had so far was being the main cloud architect of the team. It's my decisions that are final whenever we are implementing any sort of instance or making any decisions. So the owners, or rather the investors, really look to me and expect me to know what I'm talking about. And so far, without disclosing too much about the projects, because I have to sign NDAs, but I've had to create architectures which are resilient, secure, and have high availability. And by doing this, I've had to use, the usual tools that we use, the S3, RDS, Elastic Container Services. Service. I had to learn how to use Lambda to also incorporate it in the whole design. But thankfully, I got to do this when ChatGPT was around, so it's really helped me along. Janet, I don't know if I've answered you efficiently.
Yes, Steve. Thank you so much. But I'm also curious, what was that one project that was very exciting for you? Maybe you can just highlight that you really enjoyed delivering online to a client.
Okay, the first project which was really exciting for me to deliver was one where the website was being hosted on an EC2 instance, and I had to implement Jenkins and also GitHub webhooks. So we were trying to have a continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline without necessarily using resources that required payment. So using Jenkins and using GitHub webhooks, I was able to implement a website where it stored its resources on S3, had most of its, had some of the web files stored on the EC2 instance, but mostly it was relying upon the build of the CI/CD pipeline from the GitHub repository. And all these, at every point where there was an outside connection, we had to make sure we put in the correct configurations to secure everything, so that on GitHub, there were specific credentials that you needed. On the EC2 instance, there were specific credentials that you needed. On S3, we had to use IAM and IAM roles to really tie down and secure our infrastructure.
Thank you, Steve, for giving our audience that feel, at least, of having to do an online job on cloud computing. So, Evans, we are back to you. You can just let us know of a specific project you did in the cloud and how your cloud computing skills came through for you.
Yeah, Janet. Awesome. All right. So, you said how I leverage my cloud computing skills. Okay. So since we graduated from, most of the audience, I'm not so sure, but since I graduated from AWS Restart, there has been a tremendous urge and feel that I should do like more cloud projects, because the moment you get to interact with, let's say, like a customer who is in need of your skills and they get to value your work, you feel like if I could do this more, like there's so many other businesses out there. So after graduating from AWS Restart and getting all the skills that we got from there, and using mostly some YouTube university, some of us have been there. We use tutorials to learn, and maybe leveraging some of the AI technologies that we have, let's say like ChatGPT. You get to feel that there's you feel like in the past you would have to go to Stack Overflow and look for results where people have commented and stuff, but then the AI came about and it makes things a lot easier for you, especially if you're a cloud computing expert. There's way too much you can ask those AI program, and they really lead you in the right thing that you need to implement, and they even give you like iterations of how you can implement it. So talking about projects I've been able to do in the past, they're quite a number. Mostly you'll find out that it's just businesses that want probably to scale. Maybe I can give you an example of maybe a business that maybe they were using on-premises data center, and it was a bit hectic for them to scale up and down depending on the traffic that was coming into their servers. So one of the solutions we had to implement was migration. So literally we had auto-scaling set up for a fleet of instances, such that resources would be allocated dynamically depending on the traffic, and that really was a game changer for that business, because like a few months after we did that, the results were really outstanding. I'm not really gonna share which, but like basically the startup performance improved by almost 50%. The downtime, you see, it's an e-commerce shop. Literally, they have like so much downtime whenever so many people visit their site, probably during when they have offers, So due to their website's improved performance, they were also able to increase sales in their first quarter. And these guys really compensated me good enough for just an effort that just took me, I won't say less time, because I wasn't charging them for the time, I was charging them for the skill. So, I mean, having cloud skills has really helped me out there, and I'd really encourage anyone out there looking to get into freelancing. There are so many businesses out there, so many individuals who need cloud specialists. So be sure that whenever you have the skills and you can execute something, anything that you want to do is just literally possible. Like with the cloud, you can just get anything. But yeah, that's a case example of what I had to do for the customers, and they were really happy for the results. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Evans, for also sharing your experience. I'm sure now our audience is they're curious to know, on which platform did you make your first income? And that is what I'm going to ask next. And you're going to start with Edith. So Edith, what freelancing platform do you prefer or have had the most success with, and why?
So when I began my freelancing journey, I was looking for a platform where I could work with smaller projects or one-time projects, and also a platform where I could not bid or write proposals to get a job. And Fiverr was that platform for me, and it has been Fiverr since then. Yeah.
Thank you. Team Fiverr, makofi ya watu wamepata kazi Fiverr. Let's hear from Steve. The client that you just mentioned, ulimtoa wapi?
Likewise, it was also on Fiverr. I remember when I was creating the gig, I was just creating it for the sake, but that's been one of my longest serving clients. So Fiverr was it for me.
Thank you. Another Fiverr person. Let's hear from Evans. Which platform have you worked on, and which one has given you the most success?
Okay, so talking about the platform, I feel like when it comes to choosing the platform, make sure that you're diversified. But the first job that I got on cloud was a referral, really. But then the referral was from Upwork. So I just literally had to talk to that client, and I got the connection. So after that, the next client that I got was from Fiverr. You see, Fiverr, you have this opportunity to just go and post your projects and maybe say you're selling this service. Actually, I saw Upwork has that too nowadays, so you can sell your services there. But right after posting my service, I started getting inboxes, people asking me can you do this for us? So many other people even wanting something so basic like setting up an AWS account. You will have gigs set up on your profile and people will approach you. So on Fiverr, I had so many people approach me because of the gigs that I had posted. So yeah, that was that for me. Back to you, Janet.
Thank you, Evans. So on the two platforms, which one is the platform that you can say you've had the most success with?
All right, so it depends really. It depends. I'm not saying like you should do this, but it depends. You see, often at times you get that when you serve a client really good, they want to come back to you once and again. So at times you feel like you get so close to them, and you often even like go out the platform sometimes. I'm not saying you do this, but yeah, you get to like associate with them way too much, and then you find out that if you're having a long-term client, that will make you a lot of money. But for the platform, I'd say Fiverr is good at getting you consistent clients because you have your gigs posted out there. I'm not so sure about Upwork. I'm not so sure about it, but in case I go try it, I feel like you can post gigs there too, and you can get lots of clients mailing you wanting to get your services. Yeah, so I'd say Fiverr.
Thank you. So if you have been able to join this call today as CloudForce, I think there was a training on Fiverr and also on Upwork. So you can just go on our YouTube channels and you find one of our videos on how you can get started with both platforms. So moving on, I see a hand from Steve. I don't know if you have some insights.
Yes, I'd been asked about the architecture that I was using, but I'm seeing it's not. Is it possible to share images via this call?
Yeah, sure. You can proceed.
I'm not seeing where to share unless it's only on your end.
So where there is the mute button, the video caption, I think on the fifth tab, there is a share icon. Is it a sharing of the screen?
That's screen share. No, I want to share a document. Or should I share it in the group?
Oh, okay. Let me see if we have a way of sharing a document, maybe from the chat. I don't see if there is a way we can have an attachment. I don't know if anybody has a solution to that, so that the person who asked the question can be answered with the real diagram, the architecture diagram.
Can I assume that everyone on this call is in the WhatsApp group? Because I could share it there. Oh. Okay, I'll look into it and then probably share a link. So give me a few minutes. Okay.
Thank you, Steve, and also Patrick. So we'll move to the next question, and we are going to speak about communication, because effective communication is crucial in freelancing. So starting with Edith, what strategies have you found most successful when communicating with the clients online?
Communication is a very critical thing in freelancing, because it not only helps you maintain but also build relationships with your clients. So some of the strategies that I have found to be successful when communicating with my clients are number one, timely response. Responding to clients promptly demonstrates your professionalism and commitment to the project. Number two is active listening. You should practice active listening when communicating with clients, because it will help you understand their needs and concerns. And also, if something is not clear, do not hesitate to ask for clarification. Number four is always use a professional tone with them. Do not use any slang. And the last one is follow up. Follow up with your clients to ensure that they are satisfied with the work that you just delivered. I feel those are maybe the most important things to do. Yeah.
Thank you, Edith. So Edith has just shared 4 strategies that you can use while communicating with clients online. Now let's look at the challenges, because anything in this world has you always encounter a challenge. So Evans and then Steve, are you able to share a challenge experience from your freelancing journey and how you successfully navigated it? You can start with Evans. Just share of any challenge you experienced.
Okay, so challenges ni mingi. Okay, challenges are so many out there. You will get into way too many challenges, you'll feel like quitting. But then let me tell you something, you don't quit. Okay, when I started bidding on Upwork, I remember I sent I think 15 proposals without being accepted, even being given a reply or something. And I still continued bidding and sending the proposals. So what it means is maybe the right client is not that one that you're sending the proposal. So maybe the right client is not on Upwork. Maybe the right client is not even. So what I'd say for you guys, make sure that you diversify the platforms to which you freelance on, because this will greatly help you. Look at Twitter. We have people posting projects on Twitter and people get employed through Twitter. We have so many platforms. You can just meet someone today in a matatu somewhere, and they'll tell you how much they've been looking for someone who can do this. So be ready to share with anyone what you know. Be ready to just get yourself out there, because when I was starting out, I wasn't even sure that I could pitch to anyone about cloud computing, because I felt like I have this imposter syndrome. Probably I might pitch to them and they might give me the project and I might not deliver on it. And even if that happens, even if you get a project and you feel like you can't deliver on it, make sure you communicate to the client and tell them they can't deliver on the project. Because if you stay with the project trying to research and trying to find some other people to do it so that you can take a cut, I'm sure that can happen too, but be clear with the client that this is what I'm doing so that they can be on the loop. Otherwise, these clients, most of them you'll find out that I'm not saying most of them, but a lot come from the West, and they really are people that want to make good value for their time. So make sure that you communicate promptly. And at first, when I was starting out, I didn't do that, and that cost me a lot of clients. And I really regret that up to date, because I was trying to do things my own way and I wasn't so clear about what I'm doing. So yes, that would be one of the challenges I had when I was beginning this freelancing journey. How I navigated it, I made sure that if I'm thinking of a different route that I should take on a project, I make sure that client knows exactly what I'm doing, and they know, even if they get angry, some clients are actually, I'm sorry to say this, but some clients will not be on your side. They will always be a nuisance. They really wanna, they feel like you're not giving them what they want, but they can even get angry and start doing blabs at you. But just be patient. Just know that you're there for serving them. You're not there to be a boss or something. You're there to serve them and leave them as happy as they were not before, so that they can find you next time. So that's how I made sure that I navigate that specific obstacle that I had. So make sure you communicate. Make sure that you tell the client what you're up to. If you can't do the project, make sure you tell them that and ask if you can refer them to someone else. So yes, thank you, Janet.
Okay, thank you, Evans. We're going to move to Steve on any challenges that you experienced.
Yes, I've also experienced similar challenges to Evans and Edith. What I would like to add is the biggest challenge, which maybe if you don't face it head on, you might find yourself with the issues later on, is any behavior or activity which you wouldn't necessarily condone with the client, you should let them know immediately. For example, if the client delays your payment by maybe 3 days, there's a time that's reasonable. Then beyond that, it becomes too much. You should let them know. Being afraid to speak up for yourself can really cost you in the long run, because even though maybe you might be able to keep this client for 5 months, but what if they've not paid you for that 5 months, but you've been working the whole time? So also trying to look within and gain that confidence to actually know that you're a professional and that your services are worth it will enable you to actually seek remuneration that's fair. I'm not talking about being also, sometimes it's understandable that perhaps maybe it's a weekend, so they have to pay you on Monday or something of the sort. But especially if you take your gigs off the known platforms such as Fiverr or Upwork, you need to have a clear understanding of when, where, and how those payments are being made. Because sometimes I've had an issue where I've made all these arrangements, but the client says, oh, the bank is not transferring out of the country because it's a company account, so he has to use his own personal account. And such excuses end up maybe delaying the payment by a further 3 days, another 2 days. So just exercise caution, and also don't be too quick to judge, but also stand up for yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, especially on touching on the issues of payments. And for the security of our panelists, we're not going to disclose how much they have earned, kwa sababu wengine wataanza kuwafuata huko kando kando. Now, we are almost coming to the end of this Fireside chat, and we're going to open the floor for you guys to just ask questions. But there's something that always comes up, imposter syndrome. When you see some certain type of a job on Upwork or Fiverr, and because you've never done it before, you think you cannot do it. I don't know if we can have a comment or two on imposter syndrome, especially when you've gotten that job and you think you cannot deliver. So that's open to any panelist, Steve, Evans, or Edith, to just speak about it and how to overcome it.
Janet, I have actually had a situation like that. I was given a job and I felt that, can I really do it? Will I deliver the right work? But at the end of the day, I had to believe in myself more because I have the skills, so why should I be afraid? And it helped. Yeah.
So you finally took that job and you're able to deliver, even if you initially did not believe you could deliver, right?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. So that is an encouragement to some of us. Sometimes you're just afraid. Like, I don't think I can do this. You find some terms in the cloud that you've never actually done before or experienced. So maybe it's still open to Steve or Evans on the issue of imposter syndrome. Yes, Steve.
I firmly believe in Nike's motto, which is just do it. Especially today, like I mentioned earlier, we have AI and machine learning algorithms which can actually assist you. I've had gigs where I literally type word for word exactly what the client needs. And thanks to, okay, of course you have to know what you're doing. Like you can't necessarily use S3 if you don't know what S3 is. So by starting off by learning what the services are, once you use these other tools such as ChatGPT, you can actually understand what the ChatGPT is trying to tell you. So for example, if it tells you connect the S3 bucket to EC2 and use Route 53 and whatnot, if you have a bit of background knowledge, there's nothing that can really, nothing will be beyond what you can put your mind to.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve, for that insight. So we've come to the end. To our panelists, do you have any final thoughts or words of inspirations for our audience, especially those looking to excel in freelancing while still also utilizing their cloud computing skills? Final thoughts and a word of inspiration. Maybe you're going to start with Steve and then Evans.
My words of inspiration, just keep practicing and put yourself out there. You never know when exactly the opportunity will come, but it's better to be prepared and not have the opportunity than for the opportunity to come and not be prepared at all. So through the training that we've had so far and through various programs that AWS itself has, you can actually upskill without necessarily having to pay a single dollar. And you can document everything that you're doing so that it serves as a reference in case a client actually wants a similar project in the future. So just go out there, do your best, and always try to improve on what you did before.
Thank you, Steve. I hope somebody has gotten encouraged and is ready to kick off the freelancing journey. Let's hear from Evans.
Hey, Janet. Nice fall. All right. So, you didn't ask me about the imposter syndrome. All right. So, I wanted to say this about imposter syndrome. First, you have to acknowledge that you have it. You have to acknowledge you have imposter syndrome, and maybe if you have acknowledged it, maybe try to learn continuously. Maybe like try to find ways that you can, let's say for example, you get the project, don't just go and do it right from their account. Maybe like do a test on maybe some different account and maybe check whether you can implement the solution first. I'd say another thing maybe like you have to set realistic like expectations. Don't take huge projects that you've not, maybe for example, you might have not learned about Kubernetes and you might never have come across them, but there's maybe something twisted that needs more explanation. So maybe set your expectations to maybe like projects that you can only work on, and then just make sure that you always positive self-talk yourself. Make sure that you have you don't have any negative thoughts about your whatever skills you got. Make sure that you have positive affirmations about yourself every gradually, so that you can change your mindset about the imposter syndrome. And about the imposter syndrome, just make sure that you can break projects into smaller ones. Don't just take it as a huge thing. If it's about maybe the infrastructure, you're deploying something, a 3-tier architecture, break it into small portions. What do you need? Do you need that gateway? How do you configure it? Do you need this and this? Why do you need it? So make sure that you can jot down into the small bits that you need, and oftenly make sure that you can network with other people within the same domain, and that you can get people to mentor you around. So make sure you network with a lot other people in your domain. So that would be it about the imposter syndrome. I hope you guys go out there and try new projects every single day. I would really expect that from this talk, you guys are going to maybe start bidding for jobs on a daily basis, no matter if you get the job or not. So make sure that you guys put yourself out there and make sure that you are willing and ready to be told that you are not good and maybe to correct on what you've done before. So thank you so much, guys, for this opportunity to talk with you today. And back to you, Janet. Thank you.
Thank you, Evans. I see a hand from Steve. Do you have an insight or an addition?
Yes, I'd actually like to add one more thing. I don't think it comes as a surprise that Evans and I have actually managed to be successful in this, because initially, just after we finished the program, it was him and I who were really pushing on trying to create gigs online, create videos, really following up on the advice that we got from the community. So I don't think that it was necessarily luck. I mean, it was a bit of luck, but we also put in effort and got lucky in the end.
Thank you. Well spoken when it comes to at least putting some bit of effort. Kujituma kama Mkenya. So thank you so much. I want to believe that most questions have been answered, but at the same time, I'm just going to open the floor for any question to our panelists. So if you have a question, you're free to raise your hand, or you can equally just type your question on the chat box. So we get started. Any questions to our panelists? So Shay has just posted something on the chat box. Is branding essential to landing a first client? And also, can one join a freelance group instead of an individual? I don't know if that I can repeat the question. Is branding essential to landing a first client? And also, can one join a freelance group instead as an individual? So I don't know who is ready to pick that question. Is branding essential? Yes, Steve?
Yes, branding is very essential. Actually, another tip I forgot to tell you guys is the tips that these platforms give you. For example, setting up your first gig, how to create your profile picture, the names that you should use that will be SEO optimized. Use all those tips. They are very helpful. But with regard to whether you should do it on your own or as a group, that I think is on an individual, that's a decision to be made on an individual level, because not all groups are the same and not all people are the same. But generally, I would say weigh your options. And if you think that initially you can maybe get more clients as a group, well and good. But if you start out on your own, you'll gain more experience and you'll learn everything that has to do with freelancing. You won't find that maybe one of your colleagues is better at dealing with the clients and you won't get the opportunity to build that skill. So I would advise that try it on your own. If you really want to, you can do it as a group for the sake of maybe discussing or finding alternatives, or maybe, generally just discussing on how to implement a solution. But as to gaining the gigs themselves, I think it's better that you do it on your own.
Thank you, Steve. I hope, Say, you have been answered. Do you have any other question? Any question? Any curiosity?
Janet?
Yes, Evans?
Adding up on what Steve just mentioned, personal branding is really essential when it comes to landing gigs. Think about it. You are a client right now. Put yourself in their shoes and you want to maybe get something done on your architecture. You won't just go and find someone. You will have to find someone and look at their background. where is this guy coming from? I mean, has he done this before? Who are his contacts? What's his profile like? Yeah, so basically, if you're going out there solo, branding is really essential. And probably as a group, if probably you want to work on maybe huge projects, projects maybe that you can't do alone, you can join a group. I feel like, yeah, if you want to do like, maybe if you want to get maybe like, I think high ticket clients also maybe like want a group. I don't know, maybe some people that come dedicated team that can work on their projects. So it's a good thing that you work. You start out as an individual though, so you can know the loops and the hoops, like how to maneuver your way into talking to clients, into negotiating deals. But yeah, it's a good thing to join a group too, if you can do that. But try out as a individual first. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Evans. So we have 2 additional questions. One from Maureen, and Maureen is just asking, what will you say helped you the most? Posting your projects, creating videos, or talking about your skills out there in Twitter or LinkedIn? That is the first question. And when you say networking, do you mean going to meetups or networking on LinkedIn? So maybe you can start with the first one. That is, yes, Steve?
The thing that helped me the most is creating a proposal that looked professional. Because every other day, there are newbies, such as myself at the time, who want to attract these clients. But similar to a peacock, it's only a dazzling project proposal that will attract the right clients. So having a great image, looking professional, even possibly, you could even go as far as going to a studio and having your photo taken professionally, so that you can attach it to your gigs, so that even the client who's never hired anyone before will look at your gig, regardless of the price that's put on it, and trust that you're a person who knows what you're doing.
Okay, thank you, Steve. I don't know if Maureen, you have been answered. So also Maureen just asked about when you say networking, do you mean going to meetups or networking on LinkedIn? I don't know if that was said by Evans.
All right. So can I go?
Yes, please.
All right. So Maureen asked, what do you mean by networking? Is it LinkedIn? Am I going to meetups? Maureen, networking is networking. Trust me, right here we are networking. So make sure that everyone that you interact with, whether it's in the physical meetups, whether it's in LinkedIn, make sure they remember you in a certain way. Make sure that these people remember you in a way that they can't forget. So when I mean networking, I'm saying like, go out there, put yourself out there, go to meetings, go to even schools and pitch to even students, go even like try to teach them a skill in Linux, go to universities, try to even talk to people around there, IT guys, anyone. That sort of networking. Trust me, LinkedIn is not the only networking you have. You might have a number of connections, but then probably out there you have even like more connections that don't even have LinkedIn. So make sure that you network with so many people, regardless of where they are at, whether it's online, whether it's offline, and make sure that they remember you in a certain way. So I hope you answered.
Okay, thank you, Evans. I want to believe that Maureen is answered. So I see from Esther, how was your journey like in the AWS program? were there some modules that were challenging to you guys? So I want to believe that is AWS Restart program. How was your journey with AWS Restarts? Was there a module that was challenging? Yes, Steve?
I wouldn't say, from the Restart program itself, I wouldn't say any of the modules were too challenging. It's when we came to, I've forgotten what it's called, but the program that comes after Restart. Janet, would you remind me the name, please?
The program after Restart, is that Jumpstart AWS?
Yes,
Jumpstart.
yes. So once the Jumpstart started, there were a few projects on ECS which I hadn't encountered before. So the only thing that made it hard was the fact that I had not used it before. But once I followed the tutorials and attended the classes, it became fair play. I don't know about events, and you could add onto that.
Okay. Evans or Edith, do you have an addition on that? Yes, Evans?
All right. So how was your journey like in the AWS Restart program? Okay. Okay, I did that raised hand, but okay. So basically, all the projects that we did on AWS Restart, I can't say they were easy, but it's like if you study for them, like if you've passed through something, it's gonna be easy for you, definitely. But then when it came to like the end of the course, you got like some cloud formation projects, and you really had to be keen on that. I think that gave me like some hitch up, but I navigated my way around it later on, and I feel like after the Restart, the Jumpstart program, the one that Steve just mentioned, yeah, that one had like so many projects, some serverless projects that was really demanding. You would really have to be keen on those, and they were really beneficial if you could take them seriously, because they were things that were being applied in the industry, and it's something you can reap so much from. So that was my Restart journey, and yeah, I thank God that we got through it and graduated, and thanks to Restart, we're here now. So thank you, and back to you, Janet.
So thank you so much. I think one last question from Steve. Steven. So we have Steve, the panelist, and then we have Steven, one of our attendees. So Steven is asking, what projects can one do to best showcase cloud skills and land clients? Yes, Steve?
If you search online, there's a project called the Cloud Resume Challenge, which can be done on AWS, GCP, or Azure. The challenge itself is fairly straightforward once you know your way around. So if you were to tweak it and make it your own, it will really showcase your talent, or let's say your ingenuity. Then secondly, there's the bootcamp which had been done by Andrew Brown. That was all-encompassing. It taught me very many skills in a very short time. So if you can do those two, I think you'll be on your way to having really good projects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So I think you can also share them on the chat box. So just in case somebody did not pick that right, you can just share the bootcamp name, the resources that you've just mentioned. Thank you. So we come to the end of our fireside chat. I hope I've not locked anybody out. And I hope everybody is comfortable. And now willing and ready to start their freelancing journey. Don't just sit on your cloud computing skills. As you wait for that formal job that you've been eyeing, you can start up with freelancing. Okay? So thank you so much for being part of this exciting Fireside chat. We hope you leave with valuable insights, inspiration, and a deeper understanding of freelancing and cloud computing. From Cloud for Sky, we wish you a good night. Remember to follow us on LinkedIn, also on YouTube at Cloud for Sky. Thank you so much for anybody that has attended, and thank you so much to our panelists for just taking time to be with us and share insights. Good night. See you next time.
Good night to you, Janet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone. Cheers.